So we don't know what was going to stand in place of that or how life would have been because we never got to see it. Adam and Eve sinned, and so death entered into the story. And I think part of the rub for us in these moments when we hear the phrase, you will never die, is the rub that we know or we feel within us that this isn't right. And we know, we say it all the time, Jesus died on the cross for my sins. And then what? He rose to defeat death. And so for people in their grief, you look at that person you love, you look at them in the casket and you say, this doesn't look like defeat, or it does, just in the wrong way.
Well, and that's our worldly look at it, right? And I think that all of us would like to avoid that if we could, like I was just saying, but ultimately, we know that it's not the proper design of the way that the world should be, but we also know that that is our consequence for our sin. And the ultimate consequence for our sin would be eternal separation, right? But we, thankfully, we have somebody who has interceded on our behalf. And so that's where I think it's important to see that dying portion of that verse is not about necessarily the earthly death, right? That is a something that is a reality for us, the earthly death, but the eternal death doesn't have to be.
And you could also say that in some ways you don't die, right? Because when we die, our soul is with the Lord Jesus. And so in some ways you could say, well, you're not actually dying, even though your body is dying, right? Your earthly body does die, but your spirit, your soul is with the Lord immediately, etc., awaiting the resurrection when then your body and soul will be put back together. And so in some strange way, we could say for those who are deceased, there is also no death in that way, which is a really, again, somewhat weird thing.